Okay, I'm finally live. Part of my head is cut off. I can't really do much about that. Let me. We're in a different place tonight. That is not what I want. I don't need the calendar. Come on, I need to turn the sound off for my laptop. And I never got a thumbnail up, so we'll be waiting for people to find me. I almost forgot that it's Thursday night because I was at Scouts, and I'm usually at Scouts on a give myself a thumbs up there. Okay. Oh shoot, I'm in the wrong I'm in the wrong YouTube. Get out of my personal one and into this overstuffed house and get this all set up. So hopefully people will start to find me. I don't know how long it'll take the notice to go out. It was set for, public. What is going on? Yeah, well, that looks like it should. Okay, let's go into content, live. And there we go. Make sure all that's on there. Hello, Susan. Hi. Just a live chat tonight. It is melting weather here. Though I'm sure places like Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Vegas, they're all probably a lot worse. We've at least had a breeze today. I just wanted to get caught up with everybody. Save that part. So it's been so busy. Where do I have? Oh man, school starts? How short? When does school let out? If it's starting, if it's starting in July, when does it go to in the other end? Because here school usually starts. Band starts. Usually band and football start like the last week or two of August, but classes don't usually start until first week of September. But then they're usually done. They're usually done the first week of June. So where are you, Susan, that it starts that soon? I do know there are some schools, usually private ones, that start. Come on, computer, save the details. That usually no, we don't want to discard the changes. Save. My laptop's giving me trouble because at least if I'm watching on that, I can type faster on that. I can't type anything in the chat if I'm here. But the laptop's just giving me trouble. No, I don't want to join that. Go away. Did it fix it? I think. Maybe. Yes. Okay. First week of August. Wow. I mean, how much summer do they get? Does the school year still go to the beginning of June? I know when I was a kid and in Kentucky, I they were doing a thing where they did 6 weeks on, 3 weeks off, and they did it all through the year. So they only get like June and part of June and July. Wow, only 2 months. So then, do they get out in the end of May? Oh yes, second week of May. Yes, so yours just has backed up. Yours is just backed up a little bit. That's cool. But when we were in Kentucky when I was a kid, they had a thing there that it was 6 weeks on, 3 weeks off, and they went all year long. But what happened then is the way those 3 weeks fell, it fell where you had 3 weeks off because it was in a farming area. So it fell when you would have had 3 weeks off during spring planting, and then one of the fall 3 weeks fell when you would have had harvest. So it worked out great. Parents liked it, kids didn't mind it. Personally, I thought that was kind of cool to have, 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. We're in a different place tonight. We are we're actually in my bedroom because it is so hot in the living room. Um, and that's because that's on the south side of the house, and there's no AC down there. I mean, this is an old house, so it doesn't have central air. Oh, that's a good way to do it. And if there's kids that need help, then they can get it. Hi, Linda. How are you? Oh, what is wrong with my laptop? Now I know what Aragorn stepped on. Yeah, let's put that instead of at 80%, let's put that zoom back up to 100% where it should be. Then I can actually read the chat better. Oh, yeah, a lot of my scouts, they had a rough time with that because and I was taught because they were doing online learning, but still that's not easy for most kids. But I did talk to somebody tonight when we were at the summer camp meeting with us leaders, and one of the assistant scoutmasters, he had been in charge of a cub pack and for a couple of years, and the lockdown just decimated his cub pack. Absolutely decimated it. They used to be one of the biggest ones in the area and had regularly had 40 to 50 kids, and only like, I think they had, at the time that COVID hit, they had that, like our troop, they had over 50 kids, but it hit them even harder than it hit us. We lost almost every kid above the age 16 and above. Not all of them, but the majority of them. He lost all but like 18 kids. Only 18 kids out of that 52 came back to Cub Scouts. So that's rough. Oh, three on fifth grade level, so they went to the grade they tested in. Yeah. Yeah, when I was going for a teaching degree, I was going for secondary education because I would rather teach the high schools. But then I got Michael. And so something had to give. I got custody of a nephew. He was 2 years old. I couldn't do school full-time, work full-time, instant mom full-time. So I had to give up on school. I need a cough drop because my throat is bothering me. I've done more talking in the last 6 hours. So you notice the discoloring behind me. A while ago, it's so hot, this cough drop's already half melted, gooey. I had mentioned that the new leak had started in my own bedroom. This is drywall, so is this piece. The other side, because there's an old chimney here, a chimney that my father at one point, rather than have it repointed, shoved off the roof and just put the shingle roof over top of it. The other side was getting black mold, so we ripped that piece off. But to rip this side off, which I'm going to have to do because way up there, I have a spray for it, but way up there I can see where it's getting that same weird dark shadow for black mold, which I do not want to be sleeping with or under. But to do that, I have to take the bed out here. That's going to be an interesting job. But we'll get it done. Oh, wow. Yeah, they just went, dropped out of high school and went to GED or Army Corps. One of my Boy Scouts graduated from West Point this past June. That makes 2 of them that went through West Point in my time with this scout troop. Before my time, one went to Annapolis. I do know another one that got into Annapolis, though. And, but not from, not from our troop, but from our area. And one of our boys went to the Citadel, which the Citadel is a military college, but you can then go to any one of the armed forces. But then you have to go through basic training, that physical part of it, wherever it is that you go. So you get taught their way of doing things, but not bad. Not bad at all. So, but we had our meeting for summer camp. We have our tent assignments. We have our table assignments. We figured out which kids have allergies. Good to know because I didn't know one of the younger kids has peanut allergy so badly that he has an EpiPen with him on, like an epi. How did he describe it? An EpiPen on steroids. So this kid can't even sit at a table with anybody eating peanut butter or a Reese's peanut butter cup. None of that. So he's going to be at the table with the scoutmaster that was his Cub Scout master. So he knows the deal. So, and his patrol, and most of the kids in his patrol knew him through Cub Scouts. So I am having a mostly good day. The hardest thing I had to do today, I've been looking and looking and I couldn't find my medical form for Boy Scouts. Today was crunch day. I had to have that for the meeting tonight. I was searching the house. Well, I finally found it behind a piece of furniture. When I'm down at my desk for the sales at the back end of what I call Warehouse 13, the living room, when you guys are looking at me, off to my left, there's a table. And it's got a few things on it, but it used to have a big pile of books. We've gotten through all that. And So there's one end that doesn't have much on it. Well, at one point, I had sat the med form and some other medical forms that I've been looking for to get an MRI on my knee. I couldn't find this stuff. Well, at some point, one of the cats knocked everything off that side table and it went behind it up against the wall. Little buggers. Oh, hi, Nora. Nora, did you see, you're one of I don't have too many members. I do have memberships on the channel. And if you're a member, you get, no matter what level membership you are, if you're a member, then you get, when I do static sales, where I do a pre-recorded sale, you'll get that 24 hours in advance of anybody else. After I get back from summer camp, I need to get to where I can do those. But right now, everything is so disorganized, it's kind of hard to do. But there are videos just for members. And some of them are just for Fairy Realm and above. Well, if you're one of the members to my channel, if you're Fairy Realm, you got a sneak peek. So 2 of you got a sneak peek at the owl things that I got for giveaways, because in May I was supposed to have my I think it's the 3rd year or 2nd year. Anyway, I was supposed to have the anniversary party for my channel, because the 3rd year, because the 1st year, I started it in May of 2020. So the 1st year would have been May of 2021. And that's when I had fallen in April and pinched the nerve in my spine. So the channel was doing great for a year, and then I got hurt. And so everything kind of like downgraded so quickly because I spent months not being able to walk. There's some videos I did laying flat on my back. If you like vintage jewelry, costume jewelry, and fairly decent jewelry, go back through and find, I think it might be on the what's the one, eye candy playlist. I think it might be in the eye candy playlist. But if you go back, there are videos of me, and I'm laying in this bed, and I have the camera is up here, and I'm laying on my bed, and I'm just picking stuff up. Look, isn't this cool? And this is from here, and this has got butterfly wings, and this is sterling, and it was so funny because even later, I was still trying to keep the channel going. And but we never had the anniversary party because I was laid up. And then the following May, last year, I had a relapse with my spine, spent quite a bit of time flat on my back again. And then this year in May, there were just too many other problems going on. Not just with my health, but with my brother's, hospital visits, all kinds of fun stuff. So I never got to have the party that I wanted to have with my viewers. But I finally got some stuff. I hear little feet. I finally got some stuff picked up to be the giveaway stuff for when we have that. So I'm not telling you, I mean, I already said that there's some that's owls. I'm not saying any more than that for my night owls. So there will be a belated, you know how in Alice in Wonderland they have a very merry unbirthday? So we're having a very merry belated anniversary. So you'll have it probably in August. I have to see, because it would fall on August 28th. And here's why I say we have to wait and see if it'll be August, because August 28th, that's my kid's birthday. He'll be 29. So I'm not so sure about it being in August. Can I see you in a jacket? I don't have any jackets in this room. So if not, if it doesn't happen in August, then it'll definitely be in September, and we'll have a party, and we will have a lot of fun, and I have giveaways for that night, and I just think we can have a grand old time. I had wanted to make it an all night long pajama party, but I don't think that part's going to happen. But I would like to have a party, and I'll see if I can have a couple of guests stop in. My jackets are downstairs. We're actually upstairs in my room, which we aren't usually in. Just simply because downstairs is so hot. It is so very hot downstairs because it's just been so. If curiosity kills that cat, Slicey, one of my kittens almost set himself on fire because Aragorn is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So 2 days ago, I was trying to cook some bacon. Just 3 strips to throw into a salad. And Frodo, they all know they're not supposed to be on the counter. They're not supposed to be up on the stove either. Frodo hops up on the other side of the stove right next to me, and then tried to hop over to get to the counter when I hollered at him. And he's going right over the pan and going, oh, because I guess the grease popped right then. So he knew enough, though, to get away. Aragorn tries to follow him, but Aragorn decides he wants to sniff what's in the pan and ends up getting his nose scorched from some of the bacon grease. He's the one we have the biggest problem with about not getting up on counters, because he doesn't listen. He's also the one, you see those cats that just see something and they go boop, and knock it on the floor. He does that. If it's something he wants to play with, he'll knock it on the floor first and then just play with it, because he's a lunatic. He's an absolute little lunatic. All the others have figured out. I mean, and Frodo actually knows he's not supposed to be up there. He does it anyway. If he thinks he can get away with it. But he gets up, he hops up on the edge of the stove so that he can get to the back part of the stove. Because if he goes on there, he walks to the end and then he can leap to the radiator that's behind the refrigerator, and he lays in that window because there's a window behind it. Because it's an old house and the kitchen is the goofiest layout you might ever want to see, because of when they added on to the house. So he likes to hide back there, and he has a window to himself then. So he's quite happy down there. They're all kind of silly in their own way. Each one's a little different. Yes, I don't know what your jacket fixation is, but yes, I do have jackets with zippers. I have jackets with buttons. Not too many of those, but I just still have a couple of jackets with buttons and with zippers. But they're all downstairs, and it is too hot and muggy to be wearing a jacket. Definitely too hot and muggy. Now, I don't know what our summer camp's going to be like, because we're going to be in Jersey. For those of you outside of the Philadelphia area, that's New Jersey. And since I don't think we're going to be up in the mountains, so I don't know that we're going to really be that cool at night. But like we always tell the kids, always, don't care what time of year it is, you always pack some kind of rain jacket. You always pack one thing of warm clothing. No, Nora, but we have a chance of having thunderstorms. We have a chance of having rain overnight tonight, and then by 7 o'clock in the morning, the thunderstorms are supposed to get here, which is screwing up my plans. I had tomato plants I was going to put in the ground tomorrow. Hello, TML. How are you? Because I was planning on planting stuff, but that's not going to happen. Not if it's raining, because I still have some plants. When I had the chance to go to the Celtic Fling with my friends, with the Celtic weekend at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, Leslie gave me a bunch of different plants. So there's like 3 different tomato plants. There's a mint. There's a catnip. Now the catnip I haven't planted yet because I think that's going to have to go in a hanging pot, because some cats from outside have already they've already been nipping at it. And one day I forgot and I had a piece of it in my shorts pocket. And boy, my cats were on me like white on rice because they could smell it. They wanted that catnip. The only one who doesn't seem to care, oddly enough, is Arwen. She just really could care less about any kind of catnip. She just doesn't seem to care. Not at all. I don't know why. Some cats just don't, from what I understand. They just don't really, like, it doesn't really bother them. But I know the doctor loves it, and Gimli likes it. Elrond gets strange. His eyes get real wide, the pupils open up and dilate. He gets really strange looking. he's like that one's like, oh, I see dragons. Just so funny. I have 11 thumbs up and 11 people watching. Thank you all. Thank you very much. So there was no basic plan for tonight because there just was so much going on. I spent the entire afternoon. Yesterday, I did more walking than I'm used to. I walked a couple blocks away, got the bus, had to go out, took the bus out to Media to my primary care, and then had an hour to kill. So I walked around Media before I had to be back at the bus stop, and then stopped at the library, which is along the bus route, and walked around in there, found 2 books, took one back, and then had to, sit there and read for a while until the next bus came because they only run on the hour. And then get back and had to walk back here, and then forgot that Mike and I were going out walking when he got home. So went walking again that evening. My legs were jello by the time I got back off that bus to have to walk home. I got halfway home and still had 4 blocks to go, and my legs were doing that jello crap. But I was trying to keep doing a little more walking each time. Cardiologist wants me on that exercise bike by the end of the summer, but the spine doctor wants to take that carefully. He's already talked to the cardiologist, and they've come to an agreement that it would be by my birthday instead of by the end of the summer, because by then we'll know what it is that's wrong with my knee. So, but boy, I haven't done that in a long while. But that just proves that I am not ready for summer camp as far as I'm concerned, because summer camp's a lot of walking. It is a lot of walking. I saw the map tonight for camp. I love it. I always love it when this works out. Campsite's here. Say so. So campsite is here. Dining hall's way over here. That's what it is. But campsite is here. Showers are here. Always know where the shower house is. That's always a bonus. If you're near the shower house. Because there's nothing worse than having to trek to the far side of a camp to take a shower, because then by the time you get back to your tent to go to sleep, you're all hot and sweaty all over again. So, oh, what's this about Catskills? Oh, yeah, Scottish games and around the Catskills. I I have never been up to the Catskills. My when my parents did New England and New York for family vacations, I wasn't born yet, so I missed out. Oh, sweetheart, it smells like sunshine and roses. Now behave. So, uh, it'll be interesting though. It's always interesting at summer camp. Got a lot of kids going that are all young. But yeah, I would love to go up to the Catskills. I have never been there. There's a lot of places I'd like to get to that I haven't been yet. It'll take time. It'll take time. So besides that silly question, from some Besa, how is everybody else doing? I know we've got Nora here, TML's here, Susan's here. I'm missing somebody. Slacy Slicer. How are you guys all doing? Are you melting in the heat in your area? I'm hoping at summer camp that I can have the chance to, because usually Mike and I'll like take a day and just go see what's outside of camp and what's in the area. And I'm hoping we can find a little thrift shop. Something cats. Catting around Catskill. Oh, sort of like they did. What started that? They did that with cows. That was the first one that started it. They'd have a statue of a cow, and different famous people did them. And then I've seen ones that had dinosaurs, turtles. I don't know where they ever get the body forms. That would be so cool to have a cat. Nice big one and painted different ways. That would be pretty cool. Usually they're done as fundraisers for different things. I would like to see that. I think that'd be pretty cool. I know with the cow ones, they actually did limited edition numbered reproductions of some of them for the charity that did that one. I found one once at a yard sale or a flea market. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. They had the original box, had all the paperwork, and it was one of the best sales I'd had. Oh, Marcy. Oh, wow. Oh, Marcy. 101. Your AC bit the dust. Oh, darling. Drink plenty of water. Get yourself some. Mike reminded me, because I've been feeling kind of out of sorts for how humid it's been here. So we go and he'll get a thing from Walmart, this great big thing of the Gatorade powder. And he reminded me we still had some in the pantry that I should have a little bit of that because it helps when you sweat so much from the heat, helps with the electrolytes. So, Marcy, I hope you can get. I hope you have a good night's sleep. I know I have the air conditioner going on. I actually didn't ask if it's making any noise in the background, but I've also got a fan over there. Oh, thank goodness, Marcy. I do know this. If I ever move from this immediate area, I'm moving north. Moving north. Getting away from the heat. Which actually, this is a book I just got because I won it on Goodreads, and it says the heat will kill you first, and it's about the climate change. But says coming in July of 2023, so it's getting this is an advanced reading copy. But it's that's going to be my summer camp reading because that just came. Goodreads has a thing. I forget where you find it, but you look in the drop downs and there's a thing for giveaways, and you can sort it by what category you want to look through. So I'm usually looking through nonfiction, biography, sometimes I do enter in for kids books and then I just donate them to the local Chester library. So but that one just came, so that'll be my reading list for the summer. Oh, you've got thunder again? We were doing okay with the kittens with thunderstorms until we had one storm go over where the lightning and everything was like right over the house. So the cracks of thunder were really loud. And I suddenly had all 6 cats because the doctor doesn't like being outside and that stuff. But I suddenly had 6 cats all on Mike's bed. So, oh wow, TML, and you're in New Hampshire and it's been hot and humid up there. Oh, Marcy, I'll let you know how that book is um, because it is an inch thick, but I should probably get through it. Where did I put it? It's not in here. Nuts, I forgot to bring it upstairs. I do have a library book that I got to finish before I leave for camp. So, yeah, I try not to bring too many books into the house anymore because Michael will wring my neck. But I had 5 going out, and with giveaways, you never know if you're going to get them or not. Oh, man. Yeah, it's supposed to rain here tomorrow, and I was hoping to go put those plants in the ground. Other than radishes, I haven't gotten any seeds in the ground. I just haven't. There's been so much that I'm trying to get done before we go to camp. And then I've also got a lot to do in that I've got to get I have a lot of packages to get going. I'm so disappointed in myself because last week I only got 3 packages out the door. Only 3. Oh, your brother moved? I can read that much. What's it say? Your brother moved to Massachusetts. Oh. Yeah, send some rain to Texas. They could use it. This year here, they were worried about it being so dry, but the reservoir was really full. So I don't know if that's something they're going to have to worry about or not. So far, the biggest problem has been the fact that early on, we hadn't had enough rain, so everything was dry. That was a real problem. And now it's much better because we've had some rain and the ground isn't so parched. So my rose bushes are absolutely loving it. My baby southern magnolia I noticed that's got some buds on it again, which has surprised me because I noticed them this morning. It shouldn't have them this time, this time of the year. What happened to Vermont? I know I should know because I saw something on the news of uh didn't they have some flooding? Was it flooding they had in Vermont? Because they said I know they had some big like 1 in 100 year storm, and I think it was flooding. Yeah, flooding. I should message a friend of mine whose mother is one of the ladies that I go help now and then. She'll fill up her porch and they can call me up and say, hey, can you please take this stuff and take it to Goodwill or donate it or whatever, or so um my friend lives in Stowe, Vermont, so she's up there. And I mean, Stowe is usually where there's the skiing, but oh yes, they can. Now let me tell you how ticked off I am at that. Consumers can buy fireworks in the state of Pennsylvania now. There is a fireworks store. I am not quite in the middle of the block. So it's 1, 2, 3, hook a right. So about 3.5 blocks from my house, there is a fireworks place, bottom of the hill, in the shopping center down there. And they built that thing even before fireworks became legal. And then I found out who the owner of that company is. And the owner of it is the family of one of our state senators who's been lobbying for quite a while to make fireworks legal again. So, oh no. Yeah, I'll have to get a hold of Michelle and make sure she's all right. Because I know, other than her mother's birthday last week, she hadn't been posting anything um, about what was going on up there. I hope she's okay. That's why my mother always said, live on the high ground and always have a fireplace and a gas stove, because even if the power goes out, then you'll still be able to cook. So, my skin is so, I have a little bit of sunburn. It's made my skin real dry. Now it's getting a little itchy. Because if considering the steepness of that hill down there, it would have to be the flood of Noah to get up to me. There used to be on a house down there when Hurricane Ida came through in the 60s. There was a mark, or there was a brick, and somebody put Ida and the year. And then Hurricane Katrina came through, and that did a lot. And there was another brick with that mark, and it was lower, but it was still up past the first floor windows. So, yeah, we've never gotten flood insurance for here because we're on the high ground. And right now, I don't have any insurance, which is not a great thing. Not at all, but it is what it is. Because there's not much else there's only so much money blood you can get out of a stone, because Peter and Paul are both in witness. You know that saying, I've robbed Peter to pay Paul? Well, now both Peter and Paul are in witness protection with me. But it'll get better. Yeah, it gets kind of loud. It's gotten really pretty loud here as well with the fireworks. because we had quite a few people setting them off, and the kittens were just not thrilled with that, because we had somebody, we've always heard from the street that way, on the next street over, fine. But this year, for the first time ever, somebody set them off at the intersection down here, near, just down from my house. The people behind us set them off in their yard for the first time ever. And then somebody on the street, which to me on that street is insane to set them off in the street, because even though all those houses have shared driveways, most people have at least two cars in a family. So the street is loaded with cars, and they're setting off fireworks, and they're setting off some of the bigger ones. So there are some crazy people out there with these fireworks, because I would not ever set one of those suckers off anywhere near a car. Just no. No. Yeah, at first it got to where like they couldn't sell them to people in Pennsylvania, and then they said you could only have like sparklers or fountains, something which basically is something that shoots more sparks. But that was it. And then they kind of went bonkers with it. So now you can have just about anything. My dad used to stop at a place called South of the Border. And I don't remember where it's at. If it's in Maryland. But it was a place just to get fireworks. And we always used to take bets going, is this the year that he sets the bag on fire? Because he would have a cigarette in his mouth, and he'd have this brown paper bag full of fireworks, and we'd be out at my sister's place where it has wide open, big area. And at that point, it was a place where that was a brand new house. It was a development built on what had been farmland, so it's wide open. Great. But he's standing there with a lit cigarette in his mouth, rifling through this bag, looking into it to see what was the next one he was going to set off. We always just was like, when is he going to, one of these times, he never did though. We always just thought one of these times he's going to drop that cigarette in there, and they're all going to go off at once. Nope, never happened. Really thought it would though, but it never happened. Did think it would though. Really did. But one thing that got me is that after he passed away, he used to keep the fireworks in under the bed boxes, which were cardboard boxes. But he used to sit up in bed and smoke, which drove Mom crazy because she knew the fireworks were under the bed. So when he died, she said, good, I could finally get them stupid things out from under the bed. So she put them in an old suitcase. But then I realized where she put the suitcase was right next to the radiator. So in the winter, when that radiator got hot, it's next to a suitcase full of gunpowder. No. No. I moved the suitcase. It's like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. No. I'm not risking that. That's crazy. So very, 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 yeah. My family's always had its unique goofball things that they've done. Oh, my family's something else. But, every family is, aren't they? Every family is. So, has anybody got any project plans for this weekend? I know what mine is. I know I'm going to start seeing about getting, I know it's in Mike's room somewhere. He says it's in there. The tub that I need to pack up for summer camp. Because I need to start finding all that stuff. Because I know Mike bought me a new scout uniform. And so I have to hem the pants and I have to sew all the patches on the shirt because you must have full uniform for dinner every night at summer camp. So I have to get that squared away. And then, but I think I'll start seeing about packing what I can. Because the way we do it is we take these big tubs that are probably about 18 inches deep at least. It's just a big storage tub. We're gone for a whole week. So I'll be gone the whole last week of July. And which is why I had adjusted when the sales were, which is so that there'll be a sale next week. I'll have a sale. But then the next week after that is summer camp. So we won't have a sale then because I'll be at camp. If the Wi-Fi is okay, I might try to go live from camp. But I can't promise that because it's been my experience that no matter what camp you go to, it's always a bit iffy. You know, the camp, the Wi-Fi is always a bit iffy. You never quite know if you're going to have good Wi-Fi or not. A lot of times you don't have it. You don't have it at the campsite. You have it at the dining hall. And the dining halls sometimes are locked. So you can't get in there at night to be able to do a live. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping, but because I haven't done that before. Last year I tried to film do a short little thing, but kids kept getting in the way. But I haven't done that before. I haven't tried to go live because we hadn't. I know when I was at Resica, the first one after the lockdown, the only Wi-Fi was at the dining hall, and it was painfully slow. Because the minute everybody gets up there for a meal, all your phones are trying to like auto connect to the Wi-Fi. So that really was making things an awful mess when there's like 500 of you. So yeah, if the Wi-Fi cooperates, that might be kind of cool. Oh wow, Kathy. World War I large munitions. There was a house just down the street a ways, past the shopping center in Upland, where the older gentleman had passed away, and the family went in and they emptied everything out, and they sold it to a young couple, first house, right? So they're in the basement and they're putting stuff in, move-in day, right? So the kid looks up, this young man, they were in their early 20s, had gotten married. They got out of college, they were like 23 and 24. Right out of college, got married. And he looks up and there's these funny little sticks and they're sweating. They've got this weird liquid coming out of them. So he didn't know what they were. So he took one of them, put the others back up, took one of them, drove over to the local firehouse and said, "Hey, we're just whipping this thing around. Anybody know what this stuff is?" It's dynamite. It's very, very old dynamite. And the little fluid coming off was nitro. It's nitroglycerin. So they had to call the bomb squad. And at that point, Senator Bell's property was still empty, but the house was up there in a big field behind it. So they went and they detonated the stuff. The bomb squad detonated it in the field back there. And actually, I think the senator was still alive at that point. And so there was always this big dip in the field where it had blown everything out because they don't ever want to move it too far. But that was the nearest field where they could detonate it without doing anything dangerous. And the hole it dumped, it made a dip that when that crater first, because we, of course, as kids and teenagers, we all went up to see it after the fact. I mean, we heard the boom, not knowing what it was from, and we read about it in the paper the next day. But where it had stripped the grass out was about 6 feet in a nice big circle. Not a perfect circle, but a big circle. 6 feet wide of grass, and the top like inch or two of soil gone. The hole in the center was not quite 2 feet deep because one of us went and measured it. Wasn't me. I didn't measure it. But yeah, it blew a big hole in the ground. Oh no. Yeah, because if you don't know if they're live ammo, you have to get rid of it. I mean, if it doesn't have, like, if that centerpiece doesn't have a punched in ding to it, then odds are that could still have all the powder in it. So it hadn't been used. So odds are better to be safe than sorry. Absolutely better to be safe than sorry. Especially with munitions like that, because you don't want anything blowing up your house. Absolutely not. So that's just new. I think that might have to be a story time for the Boy Scouts about finding the dynamite in the ceiling, because usually there's always a point where the kids are bored and they're sitting around the table and we just start talking, and this is why they like me, because I'm just a good storyteller about stuff that's happened in my family or stuff I'd read about, and the kids like that. So I got a whole new batch of kids this time because we lost all our teenagers. And I know some family stories are going to come up because I have a couple of kids that want to do the genealogy merit badge with me while we're at camp. So I have to take all my paperwork with me for that, which is another reason I want to start packing and looking for stuff now, because so that I don't have anything to carry, I try to pack as much as I can, like all the merit badge stuff, all the blue cards for the merit badges, my paperwork, all my paperwork for summer camp, basically. The backup books, because the book I'm reading I'll probably take with me, and then I always take at least one backup book to read. That'll be in the tote, but all that stuff goes in the tote, because the tote then goes into the U-Haul truck, and the U-Haul truck takes that away. And when we get to camp, because everything gets marked with your name on it, all my camp chair has my name on it, has a tag on it, the tote has my name on it. And what happens then is the boys unload everything and your gear gets put in your tent. So we used to be big enough that we would send the gear up the night before, and with a bunch of, like, basically the senior patrol. But we're not doing that this year because there's too few of us. We don't have to worry about it. But yeah, we'll take that stuff up. The truck is leaving ahead of the rest of us, so that they can get some of that done. and get that stuff into camp and into the tents. And the tents all have signs for tent assignments as to who's going to be doing what, who's sleeping where, I should say, because there's rules about that. No two kids can sleep together unless they're siblings if they are more than 2 years in age apart. So we have an odd number of kids because one dropped out. Usually the senior patrol leader is allowed to have a tent to himself. He's not going to this year. His younger brother is going to be tenting with him because we have an odd number of scouts. So, oh, they were fully loaded ammunitions. Yeah. Well, I mean, some of those old ones, if it's brass encased, it takes a good bang for them to go off. It's not like things like dynamite get unstable and then they start to sweat. What they're sweating is nitroglycerin, which itself is not stable. So there is more of, just in handling it, there's more of a danger there. But usually, I mean, things that there is a risk. But like a lot of times people have munitions and they'll have the what did I just do? Oh crap, I hit the button and turned the laptop off. So they'll have like shells, great big shells, and usually they're easier to handle for a longer period because it's completely encased. Moisture shouldn't be getting into it. As long as you don't bang that circle part that's in the base, they're in the base of any bullet or anything else. There'll be this base like this, but then there'll be this circle right there, and that's the cap that if they bang that, it goes off. So can't believe I just accidentally turned off the laptop because I went and tried to lift it and grabbed the wrong thing. So my phone, we can go a little longer. My phone is at 25%. Yeah, when it's limited space, this year is not going to be as bad. Some years it was a mess because I would take the advancement book with me, and the advancement book was a 3-ring binder that was 4 inches thick. And then we had so many kids that I had that plus another thinner binder to take with me, and that was all the advancement stuff. Now the advancement stuff fits in one little small one because we have so few kids. There we go. Turn that back on. There we go. Come on. Catch up with me. Oh, you're going to play an ad. I must have monetization on. I don't normally do that. Top chat. Live chat. Good night, Marcy. Some have 3 books condensed into one. I don't know that I have too many of those. I have some. I try not to take any book that's super big and heavy, because that's the real problem, is the weight, especially with me not being able to lift too much in the way of weight. So that becomes the bigger challenge for me. So I'll be taking that one. I have to decide what else do I want to take. Usually I take one like super fast, easy read, and then I'll take one that's more complicated, because once in the mornings, I'll be able to read something you actually have to like think about as you're reading it and focus on it, because there won't be a kid in the campsite. Won't be anybody. Be great. But you get to siesta or the after dinner, there's always kids floating around. And so you want something to read, especially in the evenings while they're, because what I do is I will put my chair somewhere near the picnic tables so that I'm always like only like 3 feet away, so that I'm always there overhearing everything that's said. I can join in the conversation now and then, but I let them lead the conversations. And then if they have any questions, I'm right there. The men, on the other hand, often they'd disappear. Somebody's got to be there to keep an eye on the kids. So they'll be off either, over by their tents, lined up in their little chairs, and I'm like, somebody's got to be with the kids. Always. There's always got to be an adult presence with the kids. So I'm usually the one at the main table where it's always the loudest and the most raucous, goofing stuff, games going on or picking on each other and joking around. But then what happens is when an emergency happens, who do you think they run to? None of the men. First one that they go to is the one they first think of, and the one they usually first think of is the one that's around them the most. So it's me. So I don't mind. Daughters of the Moon series. Huh. Oh, I need to find it. A friend of mine wrote a book. Let me see if I can find the link. They always tell you to write what you know and all that. But to write, no matter what, just practice writing. And let me find Leslie. So she's been practicing for a long while and actually got her book published. And now Amazon has picked it up for the Kindle edition. It is how to explain this? It's a romance novel, but it's one of those odd ones. So they're kind of supernatural twist to a romance, and it's called The Taken. Let's see if this will. Let's see if this will paste in there. Oh, it's too long because the Amazon link is way too long. Darn. Okay, so I'll do this. It's called The Taken by, which name did she use? She used her married name. Okay. There you go. Now, if you see the unusual spelling there of Leslee, Leslie technically in Britain, Leslie can be a boy's name or a girl's name. When it's spelled IE, that traditionally was how they spelled it if it was a boy. But after World War II and through the 50s and 60s, you started seeing it spelled IE for the girl as well. But if it's a girl, it's supposed to be LEE as the end. So she has the original old school spelling of her first name, the feminine of Leslie. Talk about having Anglophile parents, right? She also is on Goodreads. Leslie also has a Goodreads. Which I don't know. I don't think I've signed up for that yet. Oh, I was going to check something on Amazon. I'm not doing that right now. But I was so happy for her that she's gotten the first one published, because she's always gotten she's always had a knack for writing. Uh, I've read some of her stuff before, and I always thought it was really good. And so I was so happy that she's finally gotten a publisher. So that's really good. It's another friend from the old theater group days. She just published a book. Now it's out in England now, but it's not going to be out in America until October. But it's $85. It is a serious research. I think it's like a doctoral thesis kind of book. And I was like, wow, that one's going to be a lot. Don't know that I'll be getting that one. I want to read it though, but I don't know that I'll be getting that one. I can't get Leslie's yet because I don't have a Kindle. I don't. I have enough. I have enough books as it is, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll come out in paperback too if it starts selling well enough. Um, that might come out in a paperback. So, well, I think, what time is it? 12:13. So we've gone for an hour. I don't really have too much to report, as it were. Um, once I've gotten a lot of stuff done with this for setting things up for scouts, because I had to check in this week with all these kids that were doing working on prerequisite requirements for camp. I got all that done. I made a big push to get through a lot of stuff. There's always the library. Well, yeah. Heck, I've got 3 library books here now. But I don't know. I mean, because hers is on Kindle, I don't know how I'd read it at the library unless they have a Kindle you can borrow. I'm not sure how that works because I've never done one of those downloadable type of books. It's not usually not one I've done before. But hey, first time for everything, right? Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. So, yeah, so I'm just trying to keep up and not melt and keep working on stuff that's here. I was quite happy with myself because I got through a lot of old paperwork and filled the recycling bin with um, magazines and old paperwork, and was happy with that because all that went out yesterday morning. So that's plus because it's stuff out the door. Even if it's old paperwork, it's still recycling. It's still stuff out the door. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's been so busy right now, but it's all been it's just been so many little things here. I'm jumping to do this, and then I got to fix this, and then I got to do that, and then I fixed a window, and then I fixed a doorknob because it did that thing where it wanted to spin. Um, so that's because the screw gets loose. Oh, you could do it on your computer. I thought to download a Kindle you had to have the Kindle. Oh, cool. I'll look into that, Kathy. Thank you. I will look into that. Uh, so it's just been a lot of little fix it things and uh, just that and fighting the ants because it's that time of year. So we get ants in the kitchen every year, all from the one windowsill. They walk across that backsplash to the sink. I don't know why, but they love the sink. So we thought we were rid of them, and they're back. So we have ant. I'll check, Kathy. I'll check because I would like to read that one. It's not that I'm not a big romance person, but it's my friend, so I want to read her book. And that's the only reason. Like, I used to work with a romance author in Gail Link. Gail's books are so much more. So they're historical fiction that has a romance in it. But her it's like reading a Discovery of Witches. The historical side of it is so awesome that I liked reading the historical side of it. Gail's are really good. A Discovery of Witches, the All Souls trilogy, that is phenomenal. That one is so good that they actually did a TV series of it. But boy, they condensed it so much. Like, the first season alone went almost all the way through the first book and part of the way into the second. So yeah. uh, Dampness in your wall. Well, the problem with the ants coming out is I think they're coming for water. Where they're coming from is that there is underneath the house. It's not a full basement. So when they added in 1935, what they did is, so the 1911 part is all the front of the basement. So there's all this great long straight piece like this that goes the total width of the house. And what had been the depth of the house in 1911. So in 1935, because they changed where the exit to the basement was, they made it go longer. So it's this great big L now. So they made it go longer, but only on one side. They sank stone foundations in, but the whole room is still full of dirt. And the ants are always a problem only in the areas that are right over top of that. So they're somewhere down in there. There have been times where we fumigated down in there, and then we didn't have an ant problem. So they're back. But yeah, I think they go to the sink because they want water. Because there's always, with my brother, there's always something in the sink. I swear, he waits for me to have an empty sink and then he cleans his room. So because we've put granules and stuff outside, we've sprayed the outside, and when we sprayed the outside, it never stopped it. But if we bug spray and spray down in that room, because the clearance is only, I guess the clearance is only about 18 inches from the rafters to all that dirt. Because as kids, even I dug back in there. Because as kids, my brothers thought it'd be great to dig that out. And wouldn't it be awesome? Because then we could have a game room in the basement. So they took some of the stone parts out of the wall. And actually, you can climb in there. But they never got very far because that dirt is mostly solid orange Pennsylvania clay. And it is hard as a rock. I was in there as a kid myself, and if you wanted to get that stuff out of there, we were in there with metal chisels and hammers, banging away like friggin' coal miners, breaking that clay up to get it out of there. I kept it, like Mom said, it keeps them busy. They're not doing anything to mess with the structure of the house. It's not the one wall that they put took some of the stones out of is not a supporting wall. So she didn't care. It kept the boys busy, always knew where they were, gave them something to do. But man, yeah, in this area, you're lucky if you can get down 2 feet before you hit clay. It's a real problem. It is definitely a real problem. So, but I'm gonna go. It is 12:22, and the phone is now at 18%. So I think that's gonna die on me pretty soon. And my voice is starting to go. Time for another cough drop because the voice is. I can feel how tight it's getting all through here, and it's just because I haven't had to do that much talking in such a short time. Oh, so have a good weekend, everybody. Stay hydrated. Keep your bottles of water around you, and try to stay cool. Try to stay dry, and stay safe. And I will. I don't know what's going on this Sunday. I keep trying to have another work with me. I really want to do that because it was, even though I couldn't always see the chat, it was fun, I think, for you guys to see and explore with me what I had to be on that treasure hunt. But it also helps motivate me. But last week the timing just didn't work out, and I don't know what's going on this weekend with Mike if he'll be around. So I will keep plugging away at that. I have not been able to film the rest of those magazines because Mike's been actually coming home early, and to get enough light and a big flat spot to do those, I have to do it in his room. So where I can have the window, the sunlight from the window, and the drafting board to sit them on, because they are oversized. Those old Nicole's Needleworks are like the old Life magazines. That's how big they are. So I'm going to keep plugging away at those. And that's all I got. That's all I got for tonight. But I wanted to stay in, say hi, and I hope you all have a great weekend. And I will see you when I see you, hopefully before Thursday night. But if not, Thursday will be a live sale. It will absolutely be a live sale. What I'll have, we don't know, but it will be a live sale. All right. Good night, everybody.